Hi, my name is Devansh, and I'm going to train you on machine learning. The content of this training will be different types of machine learning. I'll give you a walkthrough on Azure because we'll be using Azure Studio for machine learning. And in machine learning, I'll be covering supervised and unsupervised. It will be a very detailed step-by-step training. I'll teach you how to create a project, how to create experiments, how to load the data, connect the data with your project. I'll explain you on the different data features, how to split the data into training data and test data, get the right algorithm, how to train a model, how to score a model, evaluate a model, and finally deploy a model. Right? And if the model is not very great, how to hyper tune that model and then further deploy it. Now, what is machine learning? To understand that, let's think of learning. When we teach a kid, let's say when we teach how to do addition, we teach the kid 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So we have a defined input and we have a defined output. So when the kid learns how to do addition, he need not to remember all the numbers. If he is put into a scenario where the input is defined and the output is defined, he will be able to give the right answer. So even if you give him 5 plus 6, he'll be able to give the answer is 11. So this is the process of learning. Now in machine learning, we definitely have to teach the machine, just like the way we are teaching kids. So there are different ways of teaching machine: supervised way, unsupervised way, and reinforced way. Right. So this entire process through which we are teaching a machine to give us a desired output is called machine learning. Now, as I said, there are three different ways of teaching a machine. Supervised is further divided into classification and regression way, and machine learning. And second is unsupervised, which is into clustering and dimension reduction. And third is reinforcements. Just ignore this small box. Now, what is supervised learning? As I said, in supervised learning, the input is defined, the output is defined. Let's look into the detailed. System is hacked. Okay. Okay. The supervised machine learning. We give the input with the defined output. So each data point is a labeled data point. It is associated with a category. Now, we saw in the previous slide, supervised machine learning can be of classification or can be of regression. Regression example can be the stock price. When we have to predict the stock price is a continuous number. So we predict the stock price, or we forecast the particular stock price in the future on the basis of historical numbers, on the basis of how much dividend they are paying, on the basis of P ratio and various other numbers. It's a continuous number. So we go for a regression model. Now let us assume that if the numbers are not the continuous number, these are categorical numbers like 0 and 1, then we go for a classification kind of model. A great example is when we are teaching a machine and we give the input of cat and dog, the machine will be able to segregate. They will be able to assign a value to the image on the basis of certain features. The same example which I've given down here. If we give an input to a machine of apples and oranges, it will be able to segregate oranges and apples separately on the basis of the kind of features it has. Now, in unsupervised machine learning, we define the input, but we do not define the output. A great example is clustering. We give certain inputs and machine will automatically decide going through different algorithms, and then it will design clusters on certain features that it picks up. K-mean clustering is a great example of unsupervised machine learning. Third is reinforcement machine learning. The easiest way to understand is when we put a system into an environment and expect the system to learn on its own. We neither give the input, we nor define the output, right? Think of a child. Let's assume we have put him into a system in a drawing room, and there's a switch off TV, and he picks up a remote. He presses all the buttons of the remote, and one of the button switches on the TV. Now, when the child does it for the very first time, he did not realize which button did he press, but he will know that the button was on the top of the remote, on the bottom of the remote somewhere. So he will have slight learning. Then he will repeat the exercise, and he will find a button that switches on the TV. He will, in the process, he will also find out the button that switches off the TV. And then he will find out the button that takes him on Cartoon Network. So these are the rewards. So he does the action and he gets rewarded when the TV switches on. He gets a reward when TV switches off. He gets a reward when he moves on to the cartoon channel, Cartoon Network. So when he gets the right result, he learns it, he remembers it. That's when he gets a particular input. So this is called reinforced machine learning. We will not be covering this in this training session. We'll be covering the other two. Now, to do that, I will be using Azure Studio. Now, if you do not have an account on Azure Studio, which is from Microsoft, you can actually create. Just go to this link, studio.azureml.net. It will take you to this page. Key in your email ID, and it will sign up here. Key in your email ID. It will ask you for password. Create a password, and then it will take you to this page where it will ask you what kind of account do you want to create. 8-hour trial. I have taken this for this particular training, and you can go for a paid workspace if you know that you're going to use it professionally for a very long time. So now let's directly jump on to this. I have recently deleted all my projects and experiment. You see that whenever I take any action, I will get a detail here, project deleted. I just deleted that. I can close it from here. Now, if you have already created, your ML Studio account, this is a page you are on. Click on New on the bottom left. Dataset module project experiment from local file. Now let's go one by one. Right on the top on the left side you have projects. I can create a project. This is the most important page, experiment. I will be calling it experiment canvas or just canvas. Web services, when we will be deploying our machine learning model. Dataset. This is where you see the data that you have uploaded. Train models. Right now we don't have any model. And then we have settings. Now this is a name I have given to my workspace, Devansh Chaurasia ML workspace. Don't leave any space or it will not work. Use hyphen or number, it will work. You can give a description. My description is default for ML training. And my used is 0 right now. I can delete it, and if you make any change, let me give a space. Save will come up. Discard, save, discard it. Now let's go to the project and create a project. Let me create a project. So I will be, let's start with a supervised machine learning model. And as we saw, let me take you back. Under supervised, there are two ways of machine learning: classification and regression. So classification you can use for image classification, customer retention, fraud detection, diagnostic. Regression you can use for forecasting, predictions. And there are many ways. Okay. So let's start with classification, which is supervised machine learning model. So a new project name. So I prefer giving a name that will be self-explanatory in the future, because after a year you'll have 30, 40 ml model, and it will be difficult for you to pick up the right one just by reading the name. So try making your project name as self-explanatory as possible. I'm going to write supervised classification model for let us do the project where we will be predicting whether if a ship sinks, the person will survive or will not survive on the basis of historical data. So let me call it some ship, and we'll be using data of a particular ship that sunk in the past. And description can be creating a supervised classification ML model using sunk ship data set to predict if the traveler, I can single L traveler survived or not survived. Let me take you back over here. Now, in supervised, when we're going for classification model, we can actually have different kind of classification, whether a person survived or he did not survive, or if we want to predict whether our customer is happy or not happy, or whether if we are deploying this model in medical situation or in medical industry, we might want to predict whether the person will fall sick or he will not fall sick. And classification can be like there are two different types of classification. Two-class classification, whether it is yes or no kind of survive not survive that we just saw, and a multi-class. Multi-class is where we have more than two types of or two categories. Like a movie. Movie can be action, drama, romance, comedy, different genres of movie. Or a customer service. Let's say our customer service is not just happy and not happy, it is poor, good, and excellent, right? So we can deploy a multi-class classification model. Moving back, so once I have filled this, I can click on checkbox. Description, creating a supervised classification. So it is right over here. Add asset, but right now I don't have any asset. So what I can do is I can go to experiment, but I cannot do any experiment because I don't have the data. So what I have to do is I have to go to the data set, but I don't have any data. So what I have to do is click on new on the left bottom corner. I need to add from a local file. I click on choose file, and ML training function. This is new version of an existing dataset. No, it is not. So I'm not going to check that. Provide an optional description. Complete dataset. I usually write that whether it's some sample or complete dataset. It helps me to. It helps in the future. Once it is done, I can click on checkbox. It is uploading. Wow, now it is added. Now I can check this. I can download it. I can delete it, generate data access code, add to a project, or I can just click on OK. What I can do is I want this data to be associated to the project that we have created. I can click on add to project. Which project? This project, this project, this project. I have only one project. So I click this and I click on tick mark. Done. So added one item to project supervised classification ML model sunk ship. I close it. uploaded dataset, previous one. Okay. Now my project is ready, my dataset is ready. I need to go to experiment. Or before I take you over there, I can actually click on this. I can click on this and I click on new. I click on a blank experiment. Now this is the canvas I was talking about. So here we have project. So if you see, it is just collapsed. This is project, this is data, this is web services. Sorry, project, this experiment, this web services, this is data, and this is our settings. This is our train model. Now save data set. Let me search for this. So already here I have just one. So I need this data on my experiment canvas. So I drag this and I drop it over here. Sunkship.csv. It's a comma separated file. I can right click. I can again download it over here, or I can download by going to the data here and download. By the way, we don't require that right now. I click on visualize. So I have 14 columns and 1,309 rows. We have passenger class, survive, name, gender, age, siblings, of data. So of course, this is the entire data set. Passenger class. So as soon as I select this, you see on the right side, I have this description, statistical description. The mean of this is 2.29, median is 3, minimum is 1, max value is 3, standard deviation is this much, unique values. There are 3 unique values. Of course, there are 3 unique values because this is a classification problem that we are going to solve, and passenger class cannot be a continuous number. Passenger class 1, 2, 3, it could have been platinum or maybe diamond, gold and regular, or diamond, gold and silver. So it's 1, 2 and 3, and it tells me this is a numeric feature. Now I click on survived. Survived also, there are 2 values, of course, 2 values because the person either lived or he did not live, like survived or not survived, and this is also a numeric feature. Now if I click on name, you see it's a string value. It's a string feature. Sex, string feature. Age, numeric. Siblings, whether the person who was on board, whether he had siblings or not. Parents, number of parents he had along with. 1, 2, yeah. 1 parent or 2 parent. Ticket. What is the ticket number? It's a string feature. It means it has UCPC 1771757. So that's why it is string. Fare. How much did he pay? It's cabin number, string feature. From where did he embark? There, the unique value is a 3. Now this is important. Missing value. Then there are 2 boxes or 2 cells where there are no values. Boat. How many boats did he take to reach to the main ship? Body, whether the body was found or not. What was the number of the body? Like body identification number. And where was he heading to? Where the passenger was heading to. Now there are string features, there are numeric features, but this is a classification problem. So we will have to convert this numeric or string feature into the categorical feature when required, just like this. Gender, we don't want in the string, we want it in the categorical features. So female and male, one will be assigned as 0, one will be assigned as 1. Okay, All right, guys, I'm going to stop here. We will be creating the actual prediction model, whether the person survived or not, in the next training session. Thank you so much. This is Devansh signing off. Bye-bye. Hi everyone, this is Devansh. Welcome to the next session of machine learning. In the previous session, we took a look of what is machine learning, what kind of different machine learnings are there, supervised, unsupervised, reinforced. We took a look how to create an account on Azure. We learned what are the different features of Azure, and we also learned how to create a project, how to upload data on Azure for machine learning. Now in this session, we will learn how to actually create a machine learning model. So I have listed down 9 steps for a successful machine learning model. One is that we have already done, data upload, feature selection. We have to split the data, write the algorithm, then we have to train the model, score the model, evaluate it. If required, we will need to hypertune it and then deploy it. Okay, so let's not waste any time and jump on to directly Azure. Now, this is our canvas that I said I'll be using the word canvas or experiment. Okay. Now, we don't have any experiment over here. We have our project, which is this, and in that we have our data attached. In dataset, we see this is the data that is attached. Now let's create the first model. That is, let's click on new blank experiment. Save data set, my data set. I drag and drop this here. Right click, I visualize, it will roll. So this is the data that we checked. And now, as I said, we will not be using all the data. I need some of the data from this data set. So what I will do is I will pick up a module to select the certain columns or certain data that we require. Now for that, if I need certain columns from the entire data set, it means I need to transform my data. So you have panel that looks like this on your left. What you have to do is you have to go for data transformation, manipulation, select columns in dataset, and you drag and drop it right here. Let me bring it in the middle. Now this is my entire dataset, and this model or this module will help me to pick certain columns that I require. So what I will do is, now these are not connected. How will this model get the data? So I need to create a data pipeline. The easiest way to create a data pipeline here is you drag and connect to this. Now, right now, I have created a data pipeline, but data is not processed. To do that, I need to run it. Launch column selector on the right, and I need whether they survived or not, and I need their gender, and I check. Now I run. Cool. Now you see a check mark over here, and I can actually right click, visualize, and I see if I check on this, I see I have survived and I have gender. But survive is into numeric and gender is into string. So we know it is not going to work in the model because it is in alphabets. right? It's in string feature. I need to convert it into categorical feature. So I'll cross this, and to convert this into categorical feature, what I need to do is I need to do the data transformation. So I'll come under data transformation, and what I have to do is I have to do the manipulation. So I'm already under manipulation. Or what I have to do is I have to edit the metadata. So I'll pick this here. I'll make it a little smaller just to avoid the cluttering looks. I connect this to this, and I launch the column selector. I pick up this, pick up 6, take it here, click a check. So column selected is this. What is the data type? It was string. And I need to change it into, make it categorical. And when I do that, I need to run it. Now when I'm running it, what it is doing, it ran this as well as it ran this. It ran both, but I did not need to run this because it has already ran. I only had to run this. So next time, what we will do, we will select the module which we want to run. We will not run everything. Okay. Now I have selected now I have done the metadata change from string to categorical. Let's take a look. Survived, it shows numeric. Gender, now it shows categorical. Cool. Now once this is done, I have my entire data or the sample data in the right format. What I have to do is I need to split this data into two parts. One part we will use to train our machine learning model. The second part of the data we will use to test our model, whether our model is doing or functioning correctly or not. So to split the data, what we have to do is we need another module. And that module is, and that is also under data transformation, and we need to split. So we come and sample and split, and I pick and drop it here, split the data. And I need to create a data pipeline. It's connected. And do I need to split it 50-50? No, the best way is split it 70-30 or 75-25. Let me do it 70. Do I need a randomized split? Yes. Random seed, set it to 1 so that every time you have the same sample. Okay. Stratified split, true or false? I am assuming you know stratified sampling. So it's a similar concept, stratified split. What it will do is, if it is false, it does not give the equal opportunity, and it does not take the equal proportion from different varieties or different sets of data. If it is stratified split is yes, then it gives the equal proportion or equal representation of each feature of data. Now let it be false. We'll come to stratified in the second part, in the next part. And I need to only run this. So what I will do is I select this and I say run selected. So what it will do, it will run only this. Otherwise it would have run this, the second one, and then the third one. Okay, now the split data has already ran. What I have to do is I need to, now the algorithm comes in picture. Which algorithm I need to run on this data, on my training data and on tested data. Okay, so it says dataset 1, dataset 2. Dataset 1 is what? The 70%, which is this. 70% is our training data. Dataset 2 is our 30%, which is tested data. So on train data, on which algorithm we are going to train our data for a classification problem, right? So close this data transformation. We're done with it. We come to machine learning. And I need to initiate a model, correct? So I pick up the right algorithm. How you will get the right algorithm is, let's come here and I give this cheat sheet. Docs.microsoft is, you download your cheat sheet from here. I can show you how it looks. It is right over here. download machine learning algorithm cheat sheet. You download it. I've already downloaded, and it looks like this. One cheat sheet is right here, another cheat sheet is right here. Slow. What do you want to do? This will help you. Okay, use this. Second, it has a link you can read through, but as I said in the starting, I'm assuming you guys already are good at data modeling and statistics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do two-class decision forest, because we want to predict whether the person survived in the accident or not. Now let's come back to our console. Where it's gone? Okay, it's right here. Two-class decision forest. I assign it here, and now I need to train my system or train my model. So I close this, I come to train, and initializing model itself, I come to train the model. Right. Now to train the model, what I have to do is, one data is coming from here, the algorithm is coming from here, on which algorithm I am training, and this is data. I can right click and I can delete. Now if you hover on it, it is untrained model. On which algorithm I'm training this model? So algorithm is this two-class decision forest. I connect the algorithm, and what is the data that I'm using? I'm using the training data, right? So this is that 70% training data, and I connect this. Go a little left. So this is how it looks currently. Let me make it a little smaller so that it fits in the screen and you guys can see how it looks like. Don't worry about the complexity. It's the simplest way I can teach. I'm teaching. All right. Now, launch the column selector. I'm going to check on gender. Check here. Now let me run it all. All right, it's running. Now we have trained our model. We need to score it. For scoring, again, right above train, I have score the model. Now for scoring the model, what we have to understand is one flow will be from the train model. How we are scoring? We are scoring using the data on which we have to test, isn't it? So this is score model, and let me run all. Just select run selected because it takes lesser time, but as the data is very small, it doesn't make much of difference. Now we have done the scoring of the model. Right click, visualize, and we see that this 393, which is 30% of our overall data, survived, sex, score levels, and score probabilities. Now we see the guys who are above 50, which means this guy survived. Male, 85 survived. This female is male and it's actually survived. I should have done it another way. So slight change. I'm going to train launch model not sex. Launch model on back. Survived or not. Everything remains same, and now run everything again. and visualize. We see that this guy survived, this guy not survived. It's male. This guy, according to data, it survived, but now according to model, it did not survive because the probability is less than 50%. And if it is exactly 50, it means he survived. Above 50 also survived. So this female, it says that it did not survive, but in reality, she actually survived. The probability was of surviving was 73. Okay, so this is how you're going to check. Now, this is the mean, median, min, max, standard deviation, unique values, missing values 0. Okay. All right. Across this, what we have to do is, after scoring model, what we have to do? We have to evaluate. We need to understand whether this model is evaluated. It's right here, but you can actually, let's say that you don't know what is where. You can just type over here and then drag and drop. Connect score model to evaluate model. Run selected. It's running. All right. So now I can right click. I can visualize. This looks pretty decent. Around accuracy must be around 73% something. Go data set. Now if I scroll down, good, accuracy is around 78%. All right. So this is called the confusion matrix. So true positive is, these are the guys who we think they survived and they actually survived. And I've actually created the confusion matrix for you right now. So 108 is the guys who we think survived and they actually survived. And true negative is the people who we thought or who according to data actually died, and by the model also they actually did not survive. So we thought they survived, they actually survived. We thought they died, they not survived, they actually did not survive. And this is it was observed that they did not survive, but according to model they actually survived. And this is the opposite, they survived, but they actually did not survive. So plus plus survived and survived, minus minus not survived. Here not survived, but according to model it survived. And plus minus is false positive is actually we thought they survived, but actually they did not survive. How do we actually test what is the accuracy? So accuracy is, we thought they survived and survived. We thought they did not survive and they did not survive. So we add this and divide by the total. So 108 plus 202 divided by 108 plus 40 plus 202 plus 43. This is what I have done over here. If you do that, you get 78%. This number. 78% looks a pretty good accuracy, but what we know is there is always a chance for improvement. Now, this is your first machine learning model. Congrats. In the next session, what I will teach you is how can we increase the accuracy of the model, or actually I've listed it down over here. Steps in refining machine learning model. I'm going to tell you how to summarize the data, select more features, because right now we have selected only 2 features. And I'll tell you how to clean them, or how to append missing data, or how to clean the missing data, how to stratify the data, tune the hyperparameters, compare the algorithms. All right, guys. Thank you so much. This is Devansh signing off. I'll connect with you in the next session. Bye-bye. Hi, everyone. This is Devansh. Welcome back to the next session. Now, carrying forward from the previous session, we will be hyper-tuning our machine learning model, which will predict whether the person survived in the ship crash or not. Now, before we go ahead, let us change the name of this experiment. Let us name it as sunk ship, or maybe we can name it something better. Survival or two-class skip gap. Two-class model. We can name it like this. Now, what we have to do is, we know that our accuracy is good, but is there a way that we can actually increase the accuracy? So for that, what we can do is we can create another model. But to do that, let us not work on this. Let us keep it intact. And what we can do is we can create a copy of it. But before we do that, let us save it. And now that it is saved, let's click on experiment again. This is our project, survival prediction. Or I had an easier way. Let me teach you the easier way. We can open it and save as. And save as, I can write second survival prediction 2-class decision forest model. Now we are in our next experiment. If you want to check, we can actually go to experiment on the left side and we see that we are in the second one. I just click here and it will open up. Now what we are going to do is we are going to hyper tune and we are going to do a few more changes. Let's take a look at our data one more time. This will take a little time. Okay, this is the data that we had taken. Passenger class, survive, name, gender, age, sibling, parents, ticket fare, cabin, mark, port, and stuff. Now, what we had taken is we had taken whether he survived or not, and we had taken gender into our consideration. And we can see the statistical features over here, or statistical numbers over here. What's the mean, median, min, max, and stuff. Now, another way of visualizing this data with some better financial functions, statistical functions, let's add a summary of the data. Summary of the data is in here, statistical function, summarize my data. So to summarize my data, I need to add data to this module. And the data is here. This is our data.csv. So I can connect this to this. Now I select this and I run selected only. Let it run, it'll take some time. Now that it has run, I can right click and I can visualize on the output. Let's see. Now you see it has pivoted the data. Now I have the features over here and functions over here and features over here. So passenger class 1309 or 1309. Here the cabin is 295. Unique value and stuff. We can match and take a decision. First quartile, second quartile, third quartile. I'm sorry, I was using the word quarantine. Cool. Now, what we have to do is, if we take a look at this, let's visualize the data one more time. Age for 263 candidates, or for 263 travelers, we don't have the age, it's a missing value. And if you look at fair, missing value is 1. Ticket, there is no missing value, no missing value is 0, 0. It's for the age and fair. Now, what we have to do is we have to do a little more data manipulation. So we added the data, we checked what's the summary of the data, we selected certain columns. Let's click here and select some more columns. Now, what we need to do is we need to add few more options for prediction. Earlier, we had taken only survived and gender. This time, we'll take the passenger class, because passenger class, I think, is a great parameter that can predict whether the person survived or not. Passenger class on like a diamond, gold, or silver. So when it's higher, diamond is higher, so chances of survival is much higher. Age is a good parameter, and whether the person had sibling on the board or not, whether they have parents on board or not, and we can take fair. These are the parameters that can actually predict whether the person survived or not. If a person had parents or siblings, they're highly likely that they will help him out and help the person, and the chances of survival is much higher. Now let's click on OK. And now what we have to do is, we saw that a couple of data points were missing. So for that, what we have to do is we need to replace the missing value. For replacing the missing value, it is a data transformation. So we have to come to data transformation, clean missing data. Now clean missing data should come after edit data, because after doing the edit of the data, we are going to clean it, not clean it and then edit it. Is missing value imputation. So I connect it here, clean missing data. Connect it over here. Now, as we have connected, we need to run it. So run selected. So it'll take a little while. Then clean missing data. I'm going to run this. It will run only this module. Okay. Now let's take a look at the data. Before we do that, we have to click over here, launch column selector, and we have to select not all the columns. We have problem with age was missing and fair was missing, right? Select these two, check it. Minimum missing value, even if 0 means, even if one value is missing, it will work on it. Maximum missing value is 100%, but our data is not that bad. 100% is missing. And how do we want to replace it? One of the function is LOCF, last observation carried forward. Here we have mean, median. If your data is normally distributed, you might want to go for mean. If you think your data is skewed, you want to go for median. If you think there's a large population, specific population which is representing the data, you might want to go for mode. If you think there was no data, absolutely no data, 100% data missing, you might want to remove the entire column. In this case, I know my data is normally distributed. I will go for mean. Okay, let me check it and click run selected. Now we are into split data. So last time I had told you that we had only selected stratified split as false. This time what we are going to do is we are going to make it true. Launch column selector. We are going to split the data on the basis of survived. This column. Click on OK. Let me run this, run selected. Let me right click and visualize this data. Now, if I click on survive, and let me change it, this bin to 2, you see that if I hover on it, 566 element, 62% and 38%. So 62% actually survived, sorry, died. It's 0. So 1 is 32%, 38% actually survived. And if we will split this data, this entire population data into training and test data, in the training data, 62% we will have as 0 and 38% will have as 1. And even in the test data, we will have the similar proportion. That's why we go, when we say stratified, it will take the equal proportion. Across this. Now, as I said, we are going to tune this model. So this model will not work, train model, because we have already used it. We are going to hyper tune that. And that will be under machine learning. Under train, we are already in train model hyperparameter. What I have to do is I have to delete this and connect it to here. And this is, let me remove this for ease of understanding. I selected that and I deleted it. Now, let me give you a walkthrough one more time. So we added the data, we summarized it, we selected the column over here. This time we selected more column. We edited the metadata from string to categorical. Wherever the data was not present, we did the data imputation by clean missing data. Then we split the data. We split the data into 70% to test and 30 remaining into training. So this is that split data. This is our result data set 1 and this is data set 2. Now, tune model hyperparameters. So one input is algorithm, which algorithm I'm going to run. And second is the training data. Right? Now I am only going to select this. I'm going to run the entire grid. Launch column selector, survived. And let me run selected. Oh, score model. This, if we see a red line or a problem over here, is because when it's a two classification forest and we have used tune model hyperparameters, we have to go for, earlier we went to single parameter, now we have to go for parameter range and then click on run. Okay, let me check what is wrong. In the score model, we see a red. The problem is, yes, we split the data here into 70 and 30. 70% data goes into tune model hyperparameters, 30% goes into scoring model for testing. But for testing, how will it test? How will it know what we have created? So we need to create a connect over here. See, this sweep results, and this is trained best model. So trained best model, whatever we are going to train over here, it will become the input for the score model on the basis of training data. This is training data, and the test data comes here. So whatever model is created on the basis of training data, it is going to run it on test data. Okay, and now let's check it again. Parameter range, this everything is right. Let me not change it. Hyperparameter entire grid. We are going for accuracy. What you want to measure as a metric. accuracy, precision, recall, F score, let it be default, accuracy, score model and evaluation. Now I come here and I run the entire model again. If your data is too big, don't do that. It will take some time. You see it is moving. So it's working on score model. These all have run automatically. Let's wait for a while. Now finally our model has run. I can right click on the output and I can go to visualize data. Now you see this area into the curve, and okay, this is our confusion matrix. True positive, we expected them to survive and they survived. We expected them to die, sorry, not survive, and they actually not survived. We expected them to not survive, they survived. We expected them to not survive, they survived. Okay. Now what we have to do is we have to match this with our previous numbers. I have already kept the numbers over here. This was our previous number. Accuracy was 78%. This time accuracy is almost 80%. So our accuracy has increased. Let me mark it green. Precision was 75. Not kept what was the precision last time. F1 score is this, and recall is 70. Average area under the curve is 84%, which is good. Now, if you look at accuracy, it has definitely increased, so we can keep this model. How do we calculate accuracy? Is I've kept the formula over here. We add the true values, true positive and true negative, and divide it by the total sample. We get the accuracy 80%. How do we calculate precision? Precision is true positive. We expected them to survive and they survived, divided by plus like positive and then positive negative. Yeah. False positive, false negative. So false negative, and this is true negative, and this is true negative, and this is negative positive. Okay, so this is precision. If you see, we have 75%. How did we get 75%? Is by true positive divided by true positive plus negative positive. Precision and recall is true positive divided by true positive plus false negative. And F1 score. F1 score is, this is a formula, 2 into precision into recall divided by precision plus recall. All right, guys. So we see that if we hypertune our model, it is slightly better than what we had originally checked. What we had originally checked is I can actually save this, and once it is saved, I can actually go to experiment, and I can go to my first experiment and come down over here, right click on this dot, visualize, that's output dot. So the area under the curve is definitely better in our new model, which is hypertune model. The 78.9, recall is 73. Let me write it over here, 73%, and precision is 71.5. Score is 72.2%. So F1 score is slightly better. Precision is better. Let me mark it green. Precision is also better. F1 score is better. recall has slightly reduced. This will happen when this increases. Like we cannot increase all the parameters unless until we have really done something wrong in our previous experiment. This is slightly gone down, but the area under the curve had slightly increased. So if you see, it is 77% area under the curve. Let me write it. Area under the curve is equal to 77. Where it is 77.7, and in our current, how do we go back? We cross this, we click on experiment. I need not to save it because I did not make any change. Let me open this. And now let me jump to evaluate data, click on the output, visualize. And we see that area under the curve is 84%. Means that most of the parameters have improved. So we are going ahead with this model. This is the model that we can actually deploy. Coming to web services, we can actually deploy this model. All right, guys, we will be covering few more machine learning models, and at the last we will check how to deploy a model live. Okay, this is Devansh signing off. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Hi everyone, this is Devansh. Welcome to this session. In this session, we will revise whatever we have learned till now. We will check how to pick up the right algorithm, how to utilize the right algorithm. We will take a look at the cheat sheet for machine learning, and we will also take a look at two-class boosted decision tree if this is going to improve our accuracy of the model that we have already built. Now this is where we left in the previous session. Let me click over here on experiment. Now, if you guys remember, if you all remember, this is the model that we built first. The name of that model was Survival Prediction Two-Class Decision Forest Model. Decision forest. So first we added the data. We went to data, we clicked on new, added the data CSV file, and then we clicked on save data. We dragged and dropped over here. We visualized the data, right? And then we selected the data in the column. We selected two data, survive and gender. Then we edited the data. We changed the data type from string to categorical. Then we split the data into two parts. One part for training, 70%, another part for test, 30%. And then we picked up the right algorithm, two-class decision forest. And then we pick up the model to train our machine learning model that we are building. To train the model, we require two things. One is on what algorithm we are training it. Second, we needed 70%, that training data, that was 70%. So we created this connection. And once our data was trained, we wanted to check how this model is scored. For that, we needed the trained model because we had to score that, and we wanted to run that model on the test data or the sample data. So this is that test data. So this was the score model, and then we had to evaluate it. So we added the evaluation module, and this is how we built our first machine learning model. But we did not publish it because though our accuracy was good, but we thought, is there a way we can improve the accuracy? For that, what we did, we saved it, and we made a copy of it. Now let's go to that particular copy. Let's click on experiment one more time. And this is the copy that we built. Wow. Give me a second. Okay, went up. So this was our original experiment. You can see the preview here. And we made a copy of it. That's why I named it as second survival prediction 2-class decision forest model. It's a copy. If I click on it, it will open the experiment, or it will open the entire ML model. And let's start from the beginning. We added the data, and this time we learned from the statistical function we can actually pick this module, summarize the data, which will give us a summary of the data. Through here, we also checked how many missing like which parameter have the missing values. In the column selection, we selected more column. We gave in more parameters. Parameters are, these are the predictors. We selected more predictors this time. Then we edit metadata. We did not do anything because we had already changed from string to categorical. Then what we did, we cleaned the missing data. Wherever we had missing data, missing values, like in gender, we had missing value, in fair, we had missing value. We imputed the missing value through mean. There are various ways. Most famous is last observation carried forward, but here we did not have, we use the mean function because the data was normally distributed. And then again, we split the data into test and training as 70%. And we use the same algorithm, 2-class decision forest. But this time, instead of train model, we use tune model hyperparameters. So further concept remain the same. This will pick up the right algorithm, and like we have to connect with the right algorithm, and we have to supply it with the test data. Once tune model hyperparameter is done, we need to connect it to the score model, and then we need to provide training data to the score model, and then we need to evaluate it. Now, we compared our first model with our second machine learning model, and we saw that accuracy had slightly improved. However, we have still not published it. What we are going to do is, we are going to create a copy of it and use another concept under the classification itself to see if we can improve this accuracy further. But before that, let me delete few of the machine learning model that I had created, just to avoid any kind of confusion. This 2 and 3. I'm going to delete it, and this way I can teach you how to delete. So just click on it, and let's say if you want to edit it to a particular project, you select the experiment, you click on add to project, and all the projects will show up here. I have only one, so I can click on it, and I click on tick mark. The experiment will be added to the project. However, that's not my intention right now. What I want to do is, I want to select this and I want to delete this. Yes, no, yes. Okay, now we have only 2 experiments. You have to ignore these 2. So we have the first one, and then we made a copy of the first one, and we did the hyper tuning. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make a copy of this, and I will just call it as third, and save as. I remove this word copy, and I make it third. Survival prediction. Okay, now let me click on training here. Oh, sorry, experiment here. And now we see that we have the first one, second one, and third one. Okay, I'm going to open this. Now let me arrange it over here. Now this is our second model that we have built. We made a copy of it. Now let me use a cheat sheet. So this is a cheat sheet that I have downloaded. And what I want to show you is, we are in the 2-class classification prediction problem. Okay, we want to check whether the person will survive or not. Now, what we did is, if I can blow it up. So we are in classification problem, 2-class classification, and what we did is 2-class decision forest. Okay, the reason why I did not do the logistics regression, this could also have been one way of predicting whether the person will survive or not. But though this is fast, but it's a linear model, two-class decision forest, it will take a better tree approach, and it is accurate, and it is fast training. It takes lesser time, so this is the reason why we had used this. Then when we did the hyper tuning of this. What we are going to do this time, we are going to use two-class boosted decision tree. It has high accuracy, the training time is fast, but it has a large memory footprint. So if your data is very big, you might want to rethink before using it, or you might want to increase your compute power. But your decision should depend upon which is the right algorithm, not on the basis of whether your machine is capable or not. You need to upgrade. Now let us use this. Now let me go back over here. And what I'm going to show you, that it'll look a little cluttered, but let me help you tackle that. So instead of two-class decision forest, I'm going to use, under machine learning, initialize model. I'm still under classification. Oh, let me increase this. Okay, two-class boosted decision tree. Now I need some space, so I drag it over here. Two-class boosted decision tree. I will drag it exactly in front of. Let me increase some size. I have dropped it over here. This is our first model when we use two-class decision forest. And in the second model, we used tune model hyperparameter instead of train model. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make a copy of this and this. Control C, Control V. Favorite keys. Now the reason why I copied and not dragged, I could have dragged it, but then when I copy it, I actually copy the settings of it also. So you see, I don't have to select the entire grid again. I don't have to select the server column. It has to be survived. Correct. In the same. Now what I'm going to do is, when I have picked up another algorithm, I need to connect this algorithm to tune model hyperparameters. If you cannot see this, okay, now I think it is better. Let me reduce. Okay. God. Okay, I can't handle it. Hope you're able to see. Two-class boosted decision and tune model hyperparameters. I supplied it with the algorithm. Now what it requires, it requires the training data, right? So this algorithm will run on that training data. Training data is, it will come from the split data. The first part is the 70% part. I supply it over here. Good. Now, once this will run, it will go to score model. The score model will have a trained model from here, but it will require to test the trained model on the test data. How will we have the test data? The test data is here, the 30%, which is supplied here. I need to connect this to here. It looks a little cluttered, but let me show it like this. So till split data, everything is same. Okay, we added the data, we selected the right columns, we edited the characteristic or feature of the data, we cleaned the missing values, we split the data into 70-30. This here in the first case, we had picked up one algorithm. In the third case, we are picking up another algorithm. As simple as that. We are tuning model hyperparameter. It needs 70% training data. So we provided 70% training data. Now when it is done, it has to go to score model. Score model will require the trained model, which we supplied here. and it will require 30% test data, which we have supplied from here. Okay, hope it is clear. And this will now connect to evaluate, just like the way it has connected. Correct? Now what I have to do is I have to run. It is going to take time. Now it has taken around 12 minutes. I had paused the recording. In approximately 12 minutes, my model has run. And we can see the check mark. Let me increase the size. Adjust a little. So it looks a little flutter like a spider over here, but this is all run. What I can do is right click, visualize. All right, so we have two coded, the first one, and then we have the second one. Okay, now if I come down, for the first one we have accuracy of 79.6 and wait, 84% area under coverage, 79.6 and 84. Here I have, instead of 79.6, we have slightly less, and area under coverage is 84. So what we see is the accuracy has not increased, it has slightly dipped. Area under coverage remains approximately the same. So we have not increased the accuracy of the model. So what we can do is we will stick to our second model. Where we had done the hypertuning. Basically, we had used the same algorithm for hypertuning. So we will remain with this. Let me close this. Most important thing, let me save it. Okay. All right. This is all. What I'm going to teach you in the next session is how we will deploy this live so that people can use it to predict whether the person on the ship will survive or not on the basis of various parameters that we will give as the input. Thank you everyone. This is Devansh Sharse signing off. Bye-bye. Hi, this is Devansh. Welcome back in this session. In this session, we will see how to deploy a machine learning model so that others can actually use it. Our machine learning model that we have built is a classification model. This will predict whether a person survived or not. It's basically a prediction model. Now, let me open this experiment. So this is what we had built till our previous session. Let me adjust it. So now this machine learning model is ready. We will not be using two-class boosted decision forest or decision tree. We will be using two-class decision forest. We need to deploy this model so that people can use it, so that the team can use it to predict whether the person survived or not. This is just one use case. You can utilize the same model to predict whether the person will do the default on the loan or not, right? So I can't publish it. This is over here. This is setup web services or setup web service. I cannot do it. So because here we see in draft. So before doing anything, what I will do is I will make a copy of it. I keep making a copy of it until I'm just ready, so that if I do a mistake, I need not to change and go back. I can just delete and start afresh. So fourth one, this is ready to deploy, and I need to run the evaluation model, run selected. It'll take a little while. It's running. Now it is finished running. And I need to select this, run selected. Showing queued. Now it has finished running, and I click on setup web service, just hover on that, predict web service recommended. So it is saying select the train model. Now we have two models over here, right? Is it? Need a little more space. Use this also. Close this and begin in the middle. Which one do I want to deploy? It's confused. I want to deploy this train model, not this, because the accuracy of this 2-class decision forest is higher than 2-class boosted decision tree. So I select this and I click on this. All right, so if you see, we were into training experiment. Now we have predictive experiment. This is ready and it has gone in draft. So what I have to do is I have to select it. I have to run. It'll take a little while. Queued, running. So creating predictive experiment, it has run. And I click on deploy web service. Now when I click on deploy web service, I bring onto this page and it is ready. So it gives me an option that I can utilize this predictive model through in Excel. Let's click on this. Sample data is a feature for you to web service user to get started with using your web service. By downloading this Excel workbook, sample data will be enabled, which will make a small sample from your training data set available to you, those with the correct API key. To disable sample data, go to the configuration section of the web service dashboard and click on No for enabling sample data. If you choose this dialog box, your current selection of the sample data will not change. Click on this, it will download an Excel file right here. Let me open this. All right, enable editing. Azure machine learning. I'm sure you're excited. We are about to deploy we have actually deployed, we're going to use it. Click on here. Use sample data. Okay. Input range, let's make it like 20 till last column. Click on OK. Our output range will be the very next column in the first cell, so that will be 0, 1. I press tab. I click on predict. Wow, okay, so this is the data that we already know. What we're interested in is this and this. Okay, now to predict, this is sample data. Now let me show you how do we use it. Let us assume that there's a passenger in class 1 and it's male and age is 25, has 1 sibling, 1 parent. And another passenger is 1 and it's female, age is 25, 1 sibling, 1 parent. And if you see, right now we don't have any. This is the usual data. Okay, now let me click on predict. You see how it has changed. Now this male and female, class 1, male, female, age 25, sibling 1, parent 1, this has changed. The score label is 1-1, which means both survived, but the chance of the male surviving was 55%, but the chance of the female surviving was 94%. So this is how you predict. If you want to bring a little change in this, what we can do, we can close this, don't save, and we can go back to the experiment. There were too many columns. So what we can do is we can come to the experiment and let's open the experiment, predictive experiment. And I just need few columns, right? I don't need all the columns. So select column in data set. And what I can do is I can delete this. I can connect here. I know it's pretty small. I'm not sure if it is. Let me increase the size. Okay, for some reason I'm not able to increase the size. Okay, it's here. It's too much. Okay, hope you guys can see now. So I broke that link. In between, I'm adding select column in data set. I connect score model to here and this to our web service output. Here, what I'm going to do is I want to select column. Launch column selector. And I'm only interested in these two. Whether they survive or not, and with what probability they survive. I run selected. It's running. It is done. Should deploy web service. It's running. You're back to the same page. Click on this. Do the same jazz. Open this. We'll repeat the same exercise. Enable editing. Loading. Survival predictor. Use sample data. Give the range. Range is for another 20 people. Something is wrong. Okay, cool now. Let's come and output we require on 0, 1. I hit tab. Now I click here and I go to predict. All right. Now you see we have only two columns. Okay. Now let's say I put in passenger class 1, passenger class 1, passenger class 2, passenger class 2. And I put a male, then I put a female, then I put a male, then I put a female, and I add the age as 25, 25, 25, 25, and one sibling, one parent. All right, so from row number 7 to row number 10, this is what we're interested in. And I click on predict. You see, these three survived. So male, female. Okay, so male of passenger 1 survived, female of passenger 1 survived, male of passenger 1 not survived, female of passenger class 2 did not survive, female of passenger class 2 survived with a high chance of 94 and 94. What we see here is If it is a female, the class does not matter, passenger class, because it looks like it does not have any impact, 94.7 in both the cases. What if I remove the parent of the female and female both, and I click on predict, and let's see what happens. If I remove the parent, the chance of survival has increased. Wow. What if I remove the sibling? And I click on predict. The chances are further increased. Okay, cool guys. So this is you have to use this particular model. And what if I increase the age to 45 and I click on predict? So if I increase the age to 45, it does not matter. And if I make it 18, it reduced to 37. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed. This is how you are supposed to use a prediction model. So I hope you guys learned and you're excited that you have built your first machine learning model from the scratch. And this is a classification problem. One of the favorite for most of the companies when they're deploying their machine learning model, most of the machine learning model, like 90% of the machine learning models are supervised machine learning model in the industry. And it is used for prediction and various use cases. All right, guys, this is Devansh signing off. If you have any kind of question, you are supposed to just drop me a mail. You have my email ID, devansh.chaurasia@yahoo.com. Okay, good luck. I'll see you in the next session in maybe building more machine learning models. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.